And we are live. Welcome to the sound effects. Good.
I know we're gonna add stuff each week.
Welcome to the VA Brunch Club. We are Chachi and Katie. This guy over here is your expert Savvy Vault quiz result. I am the creative Savvy Vault quiz result. If you guys don't know yours, please head to thevirtualsavvy.com/quiz and then tell us in the comments if we're matchies. I'm hoping there's some creatives here today.
If we're matchies, I think by next year we're gonna be dancing by the time we come on. Like we have to add stuff every single week.
Should we choreograph a number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, sounds good. Also, we'll have to pay for those rights. We are so happy you were here. If this is your first brunch club, let us know in the comments and let us know where you're brunching from. And we're going to go ahead and get started. You guys, if you didn't know, we are your Savvy Vault sidekicks. And if you want to actually be coached by us 2-on-1, you can apply at thevirtualsavvy.com/SV coaching. And we'll literally go live with you. You will be our brunch guest of honor, but only if you're a Savvy Vault member. So if you're not a Savvy Vault member, come on, guys, get with the program. It's like professional.
It's such a cool time. Big fan.
Big fan. Yeah, we've had some really cool guests on there. Like, I feel like I've learned just as much as they have. So let's get into it. We are going to do our normal thing in this episode. Oh, no, it's Chachi's misplaced passion this time. Then we're going to head to the mindset mimosa. And then we've got our niche quiche, which today is all about money. Making that money.
Let's go.
Yeah, we started playing this content. I was like, real quick, Chachi, like, how do you get money? And he's like, oh, I don't know. I was hoping you knew.
I don't know. I get mediums. But when you get more money, you get larges. With that large McDonald's.
What we're going to do is give you money lessons from two broke people. Okay?
Exactly.
It's kind of like a tutorial in reverse. Okay?
We're joking. Goodness. We don't have all the money in the world, but we know how to make money.
We know how to make money.
It's a beautiful skill. Beautiful skill.
Guess what? We have a very special person watching today.
Who?
First time.
Oh, is that your mom?
It's my mom.
Nice.
Hi, Mom from Lee Summit, Missouri. You know, she's also very creative and organized. I bet if she took the Savvy Vault quiz result, her result would be probably the organizer. She's extremely organized. But she also, she has claimed she's like a highly organized hoarder. Like do you need like a pink pipe cleaner? Not like a green one, but like a pink one for a craft project. She's like, yes, I have one. I have 3 types and I know exactly where they are and can get them within 5 minutes. So
man, now I'm feeling things about my mom. Like, Mom, why aren't you here, Mom?
Yeah. Chachi's mom, if you're like out shopping, if you could care more, like my mom does, let us in. Yep. She says she got you. We also have our America's sweetheart, Abby Ashley, joining in, and Kelsey Baldwin, who's been doing contract graphics for us and is my new favorite person in the world, is here. And Natasha says hi to my mom. So here we go. Nice. Let's get into it. So we're talking about money. Chachi's got an amazing tech tip for us. And again, if you guys want to use this time, if you're stuck on anything tech related and you want to ask them in the comments, we'll also answer any of your tech questions during that time. And don't forget that if you're a Savvy Vault member, we have a tech form. So you can actually like share your screen with Chachi and he will solve your problems. And it's not just limited to tech. Like if you're on a dating app and you're not getting like a lot of hits.
For sure.
Like he will go through your dating profile with you and just show you like how to beef it up. Like, I mean, tons of advice.
Like Lisa, change that picture, girl. Nobody wants to see that cat in there.
No.
Nobody wants to think you're the cat lady. No, I'm just
Lisa.
I love cats.
He loves cats. Just one though. Okay. And then if you stay all the way to the end, we are going to play a game. Now it's my turn to torture Chachi. And since we're talking about money, I'm going to put you on the spot and we're going to play a little Price is Right. Okay.
Heck yeah.
I want to know if you can kind of like, if you're in touch with like how much stuff costs at the grocery store nowadays. Okay.
Of course I am.
Okay. And this is the national average. So it could be, you'll have to kind of think through like, well, that's in Texas, but what about, all right.
Sure.
Let's get started. If you guys are ready to brunch with us, say, let's go in the comments. But first, a toast. Please, everyone, lift your mimosa or your coffee. What are you drinking today? Chachi?
Diet Coke
Ooh, love it. Guess what's
with
in my cup?
tequila. Just joking. There's no
Okay.
tequila. Just straight up Diet Coke.
We have been over the fact that we've been in brunches before where they bring you the brunch menu, and it's like the brunch cocktail menu, and they'll just put the word breakfast in front of normal
Yeah.
cocktails. Like, "Do you want a
Uh-huh.
breakfast margarita?" And we're like,
Yeah.
"I mean, is
You
that
want a
just a
breakfast shot
margarita?"
of tequila? Yes, I do. Yes,
Guess what's
I
in my
do.
cup? Guess. You'll never guess.
Water.
No. You get one more guess.
Orange juice. I don't
Bone
know.
broth.
Oh
Mm,
gosh.
let's cheers.
That's
Okay.
okay. All
Cheers to
right.
you, Chachi, and cheers to my mom. Let's get started. Okay. Now, misplaced passion is when Chachi just kind of vents about something that no one should care about. I think we've been over this enough that people know what this is.
Okay.
Um,
All right. We're getting a little meta today. Just a little bit.
whoa. I feel like this is
Just a little
directed at
bit.
me.
No, it's not. When okay, I get passionate about things that are can be somewhat triggering, right? Such as blinkers, right?
Okay.
Or antique shops, because some people don't like antique shops. It's a normal thing to get triggered by those things. I just tend to take them a little bit over the top, right?
These are real examples of his past misplaced passions.
Yes, those are real.
Okay.
Now, I get triggered when somebody else gets triggered about something that is not normal, and that is like, how is anybody else supposed to know that? Okay, so my aunt, this past week we had a birthday party, and my aunt says, I don't like when people answer the phone and says, what's up?
You're like, that's
Like,
very
what do you
normal.
mean you don't like it when you don't like when people are nice to you and they're trying to explain to you, like, hey, you're not bothering me. I'm actually happy that you're calling me. I would love to hear what you have to say
Oh,
next. What's up?
when the first thing you hear is "What's up?"
Yep.
So she
What's up?
almost feels like it's like, you're already wasting, like, she feels like
Yep. You're
she's
wasting
wasting
my
your time.
time.
I
Yep.
could kinda get that. Like, "What's up?"
I
Like, "What do you
don't.
need?"
That sounds like a personal problem. That sounds like you need therapy for something, that something happened in your past where is like, what's up? And that's a
You know what
bad
it sounds
thing.
like to me? That you answer the phone with "What's up?"
I do. I'm like,
Yeah,
hey,
you
what's
do.
up?
You know what?
I'm like,
It
what's
always
up?
kinda bothered me. It always kinda
What?
bothered me. Yeah, and honestly,
No, no,
I
it
didn't.
didn't.
Yeah, it did, and I don't think I could name it till right now, but yeah, it's kind of like a, what is it?" Like, "Out with it." Like, "Why are you wasting my
Sometimes
time?"
I'll answer the phone and say, what?
Actually, you always answer the
Sometime I
phone when
will.
when
I
I
do.
call and you say,
But
"What?"
most
And
of the
then
time,
anytime
I just say, "What's up? Hey, glad you're calling me. I love to hear your voice, and I would love to hear what you have to say and why you're calling me. What's up?
you think
Let's do
all that
this.
is
So
implied in
excited."
your "What's up?"
Absolutely. It's about
Alright.
the tone. It's quick. It's quick witted. Hey, what's up? It's fun. You can twirl,
So your misplaced
but
passion is the fact that you don't agree with your aunt's misplaced passion? That's what we're
because
doing
it's
here
not a
today?
real passion. It's not real. It's weird. It's like I or like when oh, my sister-in-law is watching. When she came to Texas, she's from New Jersey. She came to Texas
Sure.
and she was like, I don't like it when people smile at me when I'm walking by. I'm like, that's what people do in Texas. We just go or I do the awkward. That's what
Yep,
we do.
yep.
Now I'm triggered that you are triggered over something that you should not be triggered about.
It sounds to me like you're a real misplaced passion police officer and that yours count, but others don't, and maybe you should think about that. Maybe you should
You
think
know
about
what?
that.
You know what? I didn't sign up for this today.
What if you, before you go to bed at night, ask Chachi, "Hey, what's up,
What
Chachi?"
what's happening in your past? I often do. I often do before I fall asleep every night.
All right, I'll allow it. I think your aunt is right. I think you are wrong, and let's move on. So, to
All
mindset
right, let's go.
mimosa, what we have to do is we have to chase Chachi's negativity with Katie's everlasting
Mhm,
positivity. So, I'm going to bring
mhm.
you guys something positive, which is probably why you are actually here. Okay, so since we're talking about money today, we want to discuss something called a scarcity mindset versus an abundance mindset. Chachi, which do you think you have? Do we
I
want to
guess if I have
define
to
this?
think about it, it's probably scarcity. I think I have a scarcity mindset, but want an abundant mindset, and so sometimes the abundance comes through, but most of the time scarcity does.
Yes. So I think there's two ways to look at this as I was researching for this talk. So, in general, like the big zoom out, like an abundance mindset is where you believe there are plenty of resources for everyone. There is a pie, but there's no limit to the pie. Someone taking part of the pie doesn't limit your pie. The pie is infinite and abundant, right? A scarcity mindset is when you believe your resources are limited. And so if someone has something that takes from you, there's not enough
Mhm.
for everyone to go around. It can lead to hyperfixation. It can lead to jealousy and stress. So instead of actually coming up with solutions, you're just kind of coping and negative
Mhm.
about it. And then even further, if you do believe there's enough for everyone, there's really no need to compare or compete. Like that VA just launched her something and she's already booked out and I'm not booked
Yeah.
out and I've missed out on her clients. No, 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 no. She's got her clients. Your clients are coming. There's plenty of clients in the sea. It's a lot less stressful to like live with that mindset. You don't have to
Yeah.
push someone down to raise yourself up, you know?
Mm. Yeah.
But viewing the world with infinite possibilities and unlimited options, it really opens up your view of problem solving and all of that. So that's sort of like the panned out view of abundance versus scarcity. Yeah.
Yes.
I I think I have made it on the other side of this as an entrepreneur where I really do believe in abundance mindset, mainly because I lived it. I think like my first year of business, you are getting really nervous. Like, what if that photographer
Oh,
books
sure.
that wedding? Then will I have enough?
Mhm.
When you kind of been booked out multiple years, you start to go, oh, she's booked out, we're booked out. There's only, I can only take on 20 clients a year and I'm going to eventually have to like turn down 100 clients a year and I can refer to a different photographer. They can refer back to me. Like we can all work together in this community. I think I've gotten really good at that type of mindset. Where I struggle with is when it comes to my finances, that's when I start to feel like
Mm.
a scarcity of what if I lose this money? What if there's not enough?
Right. Mhm.
What if I don't get this contract next year? What if I think I have a lot of fear around money. If you guys are listening in the comments, I would love to hear, do you feel like you're pretty good at an abundance mindset naturally? Or is it something you're wanting to work on? Or does the word scarcity mindset resonate more with you? And is this new information? I'd love to hear any comments you guys have to say about this. Chachi, do you have fear around finances or do you feel pretty peaceful, like personal finances, like in your home?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I think it's not an either or. I think it's a, percentage. I think most of the time I'm about 80% abundant mindset, but I've really worked on that. I've really worked on that. Um, when Emily was going through grad school, I was working at the church, at a very small church, and so I had to we had to figure out money. We had to figure out mindset around money, and so it really took a lot of active work to sort of change that mindset. But now that Emily is kind of in the first couple of years of her business, you almost go back to that. You revert back to it because there's no safety net around it. It's like you make the
Mm,
money or you don't. So there is that 20% of I think probably 10% or 5% is like a healthy fear. Like, right?
sure.
You don't want to just be naive and think that money is just grows on trees and that you don't have to work for it. But you should have some sort of healthy fear that's going to motivate you a little bit to understand that if you do not work, then it will run out unless you have a trust fund or some sort of fund that will continue to run. But um, in terms of business, when you're just starting out, you do have to kind of have that healthy fear.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There's a little bit of fear that makes us put our seatbelt on, and that is a decent practice to have. Like, fear is
Yeah.
not necessarily a bad thing. It can be a helpful tool. But one other thing that I would say, like with scarcity, is I even went through a phase where I would say things in my head like, I'll never be able to afford that. Or,
Mm,
like, that's not for people like me, like that type of trip or that, level of whatever. Like, that's not me. That's someone else, or my money, my business will never make six figures. Like that's not my story. So I think what's really interesting is if you can start to catch those self-negative, self fulfilling prophecies essentially and say, I am going to make 100K this year, and then start to make a plan for it. Or I am going to take my kids on that trip. I use the Disney example last year. We wrote it on a Post-it note and put it on the refrigerator 3 years ago, and then started saving, and sure enough, we got to go, and it's such a good reward when you get there. But like, start believing you can reach these goals, and that it's a good thing to make money. It doesn't necessarily I went through a phase where I thought like having too much money was like evil, or like it's like I should be giving more or whatever. Well, guess what? If you make more money, you can give more. Like, there's no telling what you have to do with that money, but money itself is not like something inherently you should fear as something bad or anything like that.
Yeah, there's two other points that I would say. That the first thing is when trying to switch that mindset, it really is important that you understand where the first mindset came from. A lot of it is, our when our parents talk about money, how do they talk about money? And what are the like? So for my mom never talked about money, but she always had an abundance mindset of it. So I kind of went into that. But when I first experienced having my own money, then it kind of switched to a scarcity mindset. And so, like, what did my mom learn that gave her, this sort of mindset, and going and switching that, I think is really helpful. And then I think the world is a lot smaller than it actually is. And we think that, oh, if there's, let's say for your example, there's 20 brides in Missouri that like, oh, I have to get these 20 because there's only 100 of them left. And there's a bunch of, there's a bunch of photographers in Missouri, and there's just not enough. But when in all actuality, the world is so huge. Like, there's 8 billion people here, and there's probably hundreds of thousands of brides in Missouri.
There's thousands and thousands.
And yes, there are probably a lot of photographers also.
Right.
But there's only one you, right? And you are going to attract a specific client. But the world is not as small as we probably think it is, just because we only see half of it on the news or on social or, in our little sphere of influence. There's so many people that need the services that we provide.
So good. Let's hear from our people. Dorcas says, I am currently working on having an abundant mindset. Past experiences have created a scarcity mindset. I believe
Absolutely.
that too. We're all just based on our experiences, right? For some reason, I've always felt abundance mindset with money. I always feel like it will work out when it comes to money. I love that. That is going to be my new goal, is to believe that. And then we've got somebody who says a 70-30 abundant mindset on money. And this is a good reminder to let you know, if you let StreamYard have permission, we can pull up your face and your name there. So would love to know who you are. Kayla says it's scary to believe that there's space for all of us, but it's also really freeing. Okay, well, cool stuff. So Chachi, do you believe that you are someone who is capable of making lots of money?
Yes.
Then let's get into it. Let's make some money, because you know what I think?
More money, less problems.
More money, less problems. That's what I
right.
think. I'm challenging the song. Okay, so as a virtual assistant, how can they start to make more money? You've heard us say it 1,000 times. The absolute best thing you can do to raise your virtual assistant rates, to raise your credibility, is to specialize. As Abby Ashley says, the riches are in the niches, although we all disagree on how to say this word. Niche,
sure.
Niche. Do you say niche? You say niche. Obviously, I say niche because I wrote niche quiche.
Yeah, I say niche now. I think I said niche before.
Yeah.
But I do
the fact of the matter is, somebody who is a general VA will charge less than someone who says, I am an expert in systems and operations. I will set up this specific thing. Or someone who says, I'm a general creative VA versus I am a graphic designer. They will charge a less hourly rate. And even beyond there, when I started, I was a general photographer, but if I started to niche into, I do commercial food photography, tabletop food photography, you're able to like double, triple your price because you know how to do this exact thing extremely well. You have a system about it. You are the expert in your field about that. And immediately you get credibility as someone who you're like, I would pay more to go someone who knows exactly what's going on with that. Right?
Yes. There's a lot of fear. Again, we're going back to the scarcity and abundance mindset. So I'm really glad that was your thing. When you start to niche down, the first question that you are going to ask yourself probably is, oh, well, I don't want to completely cut off this entire audience that I'm talking to. But when you specialize in a niche, remember the world is a lot bigger than what you think it is. And so we don't have an accurate picture of just how big the world really is, just how big your audience specifically is. So that lack of knowledge is going to run rampant in your head. You're going to have that hyperfixation. You're going to have a lot of anxiety when you don't understand really how big the world is. So when you specialize in that niche, you're not cutting off thousands and thousands. You probably are cutting off thousands of people, but you are also welcoming 100,000 people that want exactly what you want, rather than having the same audience that may not want exactly what you have, or want a variation of it, or want
Mhm.
a discount because they don't want that portion of it. Right. So when you specialize in a niche, you get rid of all of the things, all of those conversations about discounting things that they don't really want, or it's not really the client that you want to work with, and so the relationship really isn't a match, and their goals and what you provide. You're getting rid of all of those conversations, the majority of those conversations, to start to work with
Mhm.
somebody that you really want to work with, and most importantly, who really want to work with you.
Absolutely. And I've said it 1,000 times on this show, but, you know, a big majority of marketing obviously is appealing, and another part is repelling. You wanna repel
Yeah.
anyone who is not your ideal client because you can only take on so many anyway. So you might as well enjoy and attract the clients you wanna work with and actually enjoy your life, because that's what we're doing here, you know? We're building a business around the life that we want. I wanted to work with brides as a wedding photographer who had a sense of humor. So I put jokes all over my website. If you were not into it, you would hate me by the time you got to the
Yep.
contact thing. Be like, this is not my person. I'd be like, fantastic, because you know, you probably don't want to spend your wedding day with me if you're not that into, you know, like sarcasm or jokes. So let's spare us all and make sure it's a good match. Tip two, offer additional services. So do you have any personal experience for adding this in?
Oh yeah. So just from personal experience, being a web designer, it's very easy to just do the thing that you do and then stop with that client relationship. But you want to have an ongoing relationship, and we'll get to one of the tips at the end is continue to upsell, your current clients. But you also don't want to sell yourself short. You probably have a bunch of different potential services that you could offer. When people were coming to me for web design, they almost always wanted branding as well. Now, it wasn't the favorite thing that I did or do, um, and I'm not that good at the branding side of it. So now I outsource it to people
To
that
me.
do it well, and I outsource it to Katie. But in the event but early on, I had to do that myself. And so what that did was I was still working in a specific niche. I usually worked with more local clients who were just starting out in their business. So because that was what I knew I could provide for them. Like I didn't have the team to work with, this huge, realty company, but I could work with specific groups within the realty company. And so that's usually what I did, and worked with um, mental health professionals locally. And so I got a lot of clients from just doing branding work because they didn't really know what they needed as far as websites goes. But that's how I got them in the door. And then they know that I do websites. And so when they were ready for that, then they would come back to me to do that. Um, but I had to get those other services too. So these are adjacent services. Obviously, it's something that you can provide. So like I would never offer bookkeeping services. I mean, I guess maybe I could now, but early on, that wasn't adjacent to what I was doing in web design. So it really wouldn't
Mm,
make sense. But it's a
yeah.
very simple thing to do, is to start another service that is adjacent to what your primary service is.
And as a creative VA, I'll explain how I did this from a marketing standpoint. And I did this all package based, which we'll get to in a minute. I personally don't believe in charging hourly. I'd rather package everything. That way, as you get faster at it, you're not penalizing yourself. So, you know, I would, maybe they were requesting just a branding package. And I would always send the invoice with, here's what it is, or not the invoice, but the proposal. here's what it is with the branding package. But here's what it is with the branding package and an all-day photo shoot where I come and I do all of the environmental photos you'll ever need for the entire year. And here's what it's like if you let me provide you 1 year of social media content. And here's what it's like if you have me overtake the entire strategy or what I mean, like the lowest is $1,000. The highest was like a $40,000 package. So a lot of times they'd land somewhere in the middle, but that is like a way big upsell from just a one and done logo. Like if I can get them on a retainer that I'm actually their like essentially fractional marketer for a yearly cost and I get 3 or 4 of those clients, I mean that is where you take I just do branding to like I'm a fractional CMO for your company and that's where you start to get big money. So start thinking about like, what can I add on? And just because someone asked me for a logo, what could I propose also in that proposal that they may not even know that they want
Yeah.
or really
Yeah,
need?
that's such a good question. I mean, that's such a good point that you make, that a lot of your clients that are coming to you, they not that they don't know what they want, but they also don't know what questions that they should be asking, or they don't know what they don't know. So just
Mm.
even if they don't want something from you now because they weren't prepared either to pay for that, or they weren't really prepared, they don't like surprises, they can at least now think about it and come back to you when they're ready to actually do that. The other thing before we go on to the next one is there is going to be seasonality in your company. We're talking a
Mm.
lot about niching. We're talking a lot about hourly and packaging and things like that. In the beginning of your business, that is okay for you to be doing, and that is not a bad thing, even if you want to stick with that for a while because you're just not comfortable going into a niche just yet because you're making a ton of money, and you want to stick with general VA. There are other ways to make money, such as scaling and things like that, and we teach you all of that inside the Savvy Circle. Applications are open right now, so you get in before May 11th if you want extra support for that. But again, there's a seasonality in your business. It's okay if you want to stick with not niching down right now, but a more profitable and quicker way to become scaled and grow in your business is to do these things. But it's okay if you do it now.
I want to hear from you guys listening. What services are you currently offering? And are you having any light bulbs go off of, ooh, maybe this? Or if you just want to ask us, I'm currently offering this. Any ideas for what additional service I could upcharge or how to package that? Drop those in the comments. We love to hear that and we can work through this in real time. So here is somebody, an anonymous user, very mysterious person, or their name is literally Facebook last name user, and that is what they look like. And if so, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was disrespectful. I actually do offer bookkeeping services and web design. I qualified as an accounting technician years ago, but recently learned web design and have been offering both. But I am a bit worried that it may look unprofessional because they're not remotely related. This is such a great question. Okay, so bookkeeping and web design. Now, the first thing that my brain went to is, are you talking to the same people?
Right.
Like, because if you're marketing, you always want to be going after a particular audience with a particular call to action. So my gut when I first read that was probably the people that are looking for a website might not be the same people who are looking for bookkeeping. But I could be wrong. Let's workshop this. Chachi, you know web design.
Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking. And it's really interesting because right now I'm getting back into client work a lot more. And so thinking a lot about my branding, thinking a lot about my messaging and things like that. And so the way that I'm coming about my business, now I don't offer bookkeeping, but the example is still going to stand. My angle is all about digital marketing and creativity and design and usually what I'm talking about here, right? So my website is going to be very creative. It's going to be looking for that person that is looking for how to stand out and be bold and not fit the mold and want to grow in that area of.
Oh, he's rapping. He's rapping. Careful, he raps sometimes.
So let's spin it backwards.
It's like
So
solid gold, I do what I'm
exactly.
told, you know?
Oh, because I said mold and bold. Oh, I
And you
got
know
you.
what
I
you
got
know where
you.
I put that art? I put it above the fold.
Wow. So now, but if you are coming at it from a different angle, it may make sense. So if you are coming at it from a more administrative angle, then the people that you're serving, maybe they just want a website just so that they can have some sort of web presence, right? They don't need this super creative, really bold design to, maybe that's not a huge piece of their branding. So let's say that, so for example, I did a website for Property Tax Alliance. They're a company that literally does taxes for major corporations. Like there is
What a
nothing
name dropper you are. You're just gonna drop
no
these
no
celebrity
s
sites?
I mean, there is nothing sexy about their business, right? It's just they're just they just do taxes. So, they wanted a website, they wanted a one-page website, and so they don't need this build, super bold website. So, if you're offering bookkeeping services and websites that are like that, then I think it makes complete sense. But if you are going for a more creative audience who really wants this to be a huge part of their brand, then maybe bookkeeping doesn't make sense that way. So
You
it just
know?
all depends on where you're coming at it from.
So her name is Suzanne. I guess her name is not Facebook user. I guess her name is
Oh,
Suzanne
no.
user. And so she tends to have a mix. She targets new business owners who come to me for one thing, so she tries to bring up the other. If they're new to business, they may need both. And that is also where my
Yeah.
brain went, was like, you could package yourself as like the ultimate new business startup kit.
Yes.
Yeah, where
Oh,
you're like
so good.
so good, where
Yeah.
you're gonna get like you're gonna
We'll set
get
you up
your
bookkeeping.
yeah, we'll set you up a basic system to get your stuff off the ground with basic marketing and basic bookkeeping. Like, yes, I do love that idea as well. And it,
Yeah.
it could very much be the same audience. So maybe it's
Yeah.
all
Love
in
that.
the package, you know, that could be really cool. And then which case you could package it all together, but then even offer a downsell. Do you only need bookkeeping? Do you only need a website? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got some good questions coming through. So Aeoliana says podcast launch and podcast management, adding guest management as well. So guest management would be like the additional service, I believe. And then, I don't know if there's a retainer situation that you could add onto this, because like sometimes Chachi, you do like a one and done website setup, right? But then sometimes you
Hmm.
get them on retainer to like
Yep.
maintain, and you're doing those domains. So like again, the additional service could also just be like the additional contract period of
Yep.
keep people paying you. So guest management is another great way to do that. I love that. And ongoing podcast maintenance and all of that. Um, Amal offers general VA services, which is obviously a great, great start. So even general VA, you can niche within that.
Yep.
You could be known as the actual expert in inbox management, or the best at customer service, the best. You know what I mean? So even that, you can kind of just specify what you mean by general VA, and that is your niche, even though it's not like as in depth as coding a website or building a funnel. So don't be afraid to
Or a
niche.
specific industry. Like you can be the general
Right.
VA, the go-to general VA services for mental health professionals or for
Ooh,
construction companies or whatever that may be. You could do that too.
such a good point, because you can niche three ways basically. You can niche by the services you offer, you can niche by the industry that you offer, or you can niche by the services and industries that you offer. And that's giving you get really niched, and you better join Savvy Circle because you're going to make $1 million. Cart
Absolutely.
open till Thursday. Shameless plug. Okay. April says, I'm offering general admin right now. I haven't niched down, but I'm thinking I would really like CRM setup. If you guys don't know what CRM stands for, that's customer relations management, and it is a lifesaver. Our first
Mhm.
recommendation is always Dubsado, and we have a great, oh my goodness, juicy course inside the Savvy Vault, taught by America's sweetheart Rachel Dorsey, or
Certified Dubsado expert.
as me and Chachi refer to her as Dirty Dorsey, and we also call her our sister from another mister. Um, yes, I think that's a great idea, April. Absolutely high need for that. Okay,
Yep.
so someone's asking about glitches. We always say just refresh, and then we tend to come in clear after that. Okay, we're going to take one more and then we'll move on to our next section. Debbie says, I have a small backyard plant nursery and I'm a writer and a VA. So basically, she's better than us. So let's just get that out of the way.
Backyard plant nursery, so
Um,
nice.
I mean, come on. I'd love to niche in my VA business in a way that marries my interests. I have even written a bunch of blogs for landscaping. Ooh, but there are plenty
Beautiful.
of ways to specialize for people in the plant business. YouTubers, growers, farmers, flowers, haven't honed in yet. Not sure how to market to that segment. That is really cool. Yeah, I love that idea. Chachi and I made a joke the other day about like, well, you'll have to do, it was kind of similar. It was like homesteaders. We're like, how do you market to homesteaders? We were like, you'll have to do a direct mail campaign that sends in the actual mail. And then, it's like a plantable paper that you plant and then dissolve. No, that is a little extreme, but there probably are community groups
Oh
and
gosh.
Facebook groups of people in this interest. And if you just simply clarify your services for these people and you join all of those communities and have like a package ready, and you can anticipate all of the problems that they already have, and you probably can because you have a small backyard plant nursery, and are able to just like offer what they need before they knew they needed. Oh my gosh, try it, Debbie, and keep us posted because that sounds awesome.
It does, yeah. There's gonna be some
And
push therapy that you're gonna have to, like, go find them, and then, content marketing to kinda pull them in too. But there's definitely ways to do it.
content marketing. Oh yeah, if you do the blog for other people, start building your own blog with
Yeah.
all these, free expert resources of marketing for people with plants, plantpeoplemarketing.com. What? All right, I got to move on because I'm getting too excited. Tip 3, increase your rate.
Oh,
Yes. It seems so obvious, but people are so hesitant to do it because they think they're going to make everyone mad, or they think no one's going to hire them at this new rate. I'm here to tell you, do not be afraid to increase your rate. There's a handful of ways you can do it. You can increase your rate with the next client that you hire. That's the easiest way. You don't have to stress. You just say, I was charging this previous client 25. Next time I hire someone new, I'm going to start charging $30 an hour. When they say yes, you'll probably do this thing where you go, oh crap, could I have charged 40? We always do that. Like, what would they have paid? Try that again with the next client, 40. Okay, now 40. And then as those old clients retainers run out, you just say, hey, I would love to keep you on my new rate, or, hey, just so you know, your retainers ending in 3 months. My rates have increased. I just want to give you the heads up. So if you are trying to increase current clients, notice. Do not spring it on them the day of, and just obviously give them the option to not renew, and just be okay with that abundance mindset that like if they're no longer your client at this rate, it is okay to let them go and make space for a new client that is going to pay that rate, and it is all going to be okay. It's very, very stressful to say goodbye to a client over a rate, but you just have to do, never burn a bridge, and just believe that you're going to have enough with your new increased rate. And you know what sometimes happens? They may say, "No, I'm gonna go find somebody for $30," and they hop on like Fiverr or Upwork, and they don't get the quality that they want or the
yes.
predictability that you provided, and they
Yeah.
might come back and say, "You know what? If $5 is totally worth it to have you not give me headaches and uh, all the learning curve of training somebody new." So don't be afraid. Chachi, have you ever increased your rate
I
as a
did,
VA?
yeah, a couple of years ago, my like, the cheapest website I did was, I don't know, was around, like, 4 or $500, and I don't know, I just had this really a scarcity mindset of, like, "No, nobody's gonna pay for a website when there's, like, Squarespace and Wix," and, I mean, now
Mhm.
it's like that sort of thinking is, like, a scarcity mindset and
Right,
dumb because people still do it, and Squarespace and Wix and all those aren't as easy as, you think they are.
right.
But, yeah, so, the company came to me and they said, We really just want a one-page website, and, we really don't want much on there. We kind of already have the content. We just kinda need a facelift." Like, "What would you do it for?" And in my head, I thought to myself, "Oh, it's gonna take me, like, an hour and a half." Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's an hour and a half of my time? Well, like, $75, $80? Like, what? So, but then I thought to myself, "Hold on. The reason why it takes me an hour and a half and not 5 days is because I've spent the past 5 or 6
20
years,"
years, right?
yeah, however long it's been, um, honing my skills and my experience and getting my Adobe Photoshop and Figma and the things that I use, because I have those down like the back of my hand. That's why it's going to take me an hour and a half. So they're not
Exactly.
paying for my time; they're paying for my expertise. And my
That's right.
expertise for that hour and a half, it really took me like 2 hours. I charge 750. And I was like, look,
Woo!
I don't know if they're going to pay it, but I don't need this client. First of all, like if I don't have
Oh,
this
that's
client,
such a
nothing's going to
good
break. Okay.
feeling.
It's
Yes.
okay. But I set myself up that way. I made sure that I didn't need, you know what I mean? Like I made
Mhm.
direct choices to put myself in that position. And so I said, here's what it is. Let me know if this is in budget for you. And if not, I can send you to some, DIY builders. And you can try it yourself. And they were like, "Oh, cool, yeah, no problem. 750 sounds great." And they signed the thing immediately, and I delivered their website in less than a week.
I love that. Yes, there's something extremely freeing when you are actually booked out and you get the privilege of saying no. And I know for some of the listeners that seems so far fetched, but it's going to happen for all of you. And it really is. And it's
Yeah,
such a great moment when you are now a booked out VA and you know that the new inquiries are coming in and you get to raise your prices because you do not have capacity to take on every new inquiry. There's no possible way that you can. And so you get to name an outrageous price and go, well, if they say no, I didn't really have time anyway. And then they say yes, and you go, I will make time. I will totally make time for
yeah.
that big package thing. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Number one, are any of you booked out? Are you in that position right now where you're able to turn down clients? And please tell us so that we can all celebrate you here right now. I'm asking you to brag. And number two, have any of you experienced raising your rate? And can you tell us about what that experience was like? So I'll tell you mine, Chachi. I was starting to question whether I wanted to do weddings at all because of the
Mm,
level of stress and
right.
because
Yeah.
of the fact that you have to book a year in advance. And so I will just tell you, I'll straight up tell you the numbers. I was shooting weddings at about, 15 to $1,800, and I was getting I almost every inquiry came in, I booked. So I was like telling me, oh, that's probably a little too low because no
Hmm.
one has said like, can you lower your package? Okay, well, A, that's not great. B, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. So I just out of my wildest, I was like, okay, I'll do it. I won't hourly it. I'll just say you have me for the whole day, $5,000 because I don't want to do it. When I got booked out that year at $5,000 weddings, and I found a niche of people that were somehow expecting it to be $5,000. It's almost like it almost changed my
Yes,
audience, and then the
it
word of mouth
does.
changed because they're going like, it's the $5,000 photographer like that
Yep.
all of my $5,000 friends are looking
Yep.
for. Or even like I swear to you on the not.com it'll categorize you with dollar symbols. Well, suddenly I'm in the top dollar symbol bracket and I didn't
Yep.
know that there are wedding coordinators out there that are only filtering by the top dollar because they've got top
Yep.
dollar clients and they're not going to bring them the budget photographer. So like it opened my eyes into the whole world of like high end clients and like you can
So
actually
good. Yeah.
position yourself as like a
Mm.
high end
With price.
photographer
Yeah.
with price. And it actually doesn't
Yep.
deter who I thought. It brings in all the people with the money. So
Yes.
anyway, um, still don't love shooting weddings, but here we are. I didn't mind the money.
Well, I bet you
Okay.
enjoy it more at 5,000 than you did at 1,800, though.
You know what I
You know what I
also
mean? Like,
thought was
there's something to be said
fantastic?
about
Yeah, making
paying your
more money
worth.
in less time. Um, what was also interesting, and this is like an entire I have no basis for anything about what I'm about to say, but I would have guessed the people who booked me at my lowest price were lower maintenance people who were just chill, and that people who would book me at the highest price might be like high maintenance people who all need the salad forks to be. It was the exact opposite. It almost was like the people who had the well, I'm spending half a million on this wedding, so what are you, 5,000? I don't even remember. Like,
Right.
I don't guess how much those flowers cost? Also 5,000.
Mhm.
Like, you
Yes.
are as valued on
For
me
one
as that
centerpiece.
centerpiece.
Yeah.
Yes, one centerpiece versus the people who were like, "Okay, I'm gonna pay you $1,800, but just so you know, this is a $5,000 total wedding. You cost twice as much as my wedding dress. Like, are you gonna get the shots? Are you gonna get the shots?" Like,
Yeah.
almost that is scarcity abundance
Yes.
mindset as well, and
Yes.
it's really, really surprised me. And that is not universal. And I'm not saying I had super chill, low budget people and super high maintenance. Yeah, that's not the rule all the time. But it is kind of interesting how you think I don't think I'd want the pressure of charging that much. It's like, you'd find out some people who have a lot of money are kind of chill. They're not that
Yeah.
worried about it, you know?
No,
So give it a go.
this and the experience is different. Like and you mentioned, putting the higher dollar and people start to question like why would anybody pay for a photographer that's $5,000 when you could get one for that's $1,800, but we do it all the time, right? So
Mm,
people go and you can go to Costco and you can get a t-shirt, right, for $2,
right.
or you can go to a boutique and you
Mhm.
can go get a higher end shirt. It's just a
Yep.
shirt, right? It does the same thing, but it's a
It just
different experience. It
cotton.
feels different on your skin, right? Like it's a
Mhm.
boutique experience. When you begin to charge these higher rates, you can have less clients, you can focus more on the customer service, on taking care
Mm,
of them, on gaining those relationships. But you can't do that if you have 10 clients at $1,000 a month rather
right.
than 3 clients at $5,000 a month or whatever. I don't know what the
That's
math is,
exactly
but
right.
give
Yeah,
them
by
a
the
boutique
time
experience.
and that's honestly, that's so I have 4 kids. Every time I would have another kid, I would raise my price and reduce my number of weddings. Like, it was almost like a math problem at that point.
Yeah,
But what was really cool was by the time I had, like, my 4th kid, I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm only taking on 5 weddings this year." But those 5 brides, they would text me like, "Hey, I'm dress shopping with my
yeah.
mom. Do you like this one?" Like, they became,
Oh,
like,
so nice. Yeah.
dear, dear friends. By the time you're
Mhm.
at their wedding, you feel like you're a bridesmaid. Like, it's a very different, cool experience.
Yes.
Um, Also, do you know what's ironic about what you said is a lot of my high-end clients, said that I did feel different on their skin. So, that's a nice review.
Interesting. What a weird thing to
No.
say.
Isn't
What a
that
weird
nice
thing
of
to say.
them? I
It
thought
is
that
very
was
nice of them and a little creepy. Okay,
no, I agree.
4,
Okay. Package
package
your
your
services.
services. Yeah.
In the comments, are you team hourly or team packages? And can we change your mind?
Oh
Team
gosh.
packages or team hourly? All right. Preach, Chachi. Let's hear it.
Okay, when you're starting to package your services, there is going to be an hourly element to it. So, for example, and I'm only speaking here from experience here for web design, but it could be universally applicable. So, I know that I can probably build a website from start to finish, and that's content, wireframing, development, design, testing in about 8 hours total.
Mm.
Okay, 8 hours. If I can sit down, have everything I need, I can do it in 8 hours, right?
And if you
So I
take
know what.
ADHD medication.
Oh, absolutely. That's at least 2 Adderalls a day, at least. But I could get it done in 8 hours. Okay, so figure that into however you want to do it. But and I know that my hourly rate is around right this number. So that's going to be kind of my floor. It cannot be anything less than that because that is what my absolute time is worth. Now,
Right.
I know that I'm going to go back and forth between clients. It's going to cause me so much mental load to have to wait for them to get back to me, to want to call me, because some of my clients, if I'm working with a nonprofit, they usually don't do Zoom, but they want to call me and they want me to meet with them at a coffee shop. And I'm like, ah. So I make sure to put that into my rate, right? And so there is an hourly element to it. And then I always add anywhere from 10 to 15% on top of that because they're going to want to
Something's
buy
going to
something.
happen. Yes.
Yeah, and they're going to want to buy something that they're not going to know that they needed that in the first place. I want it to be a surprise to them, so I
Right.
already put it into the invoice, right? And if they don't need it, great, but if they do need it, it's there. And then there's always going to be something that breaks. It's just like a house renovation, something like that. You need to put in more than what you think that your time is worth so that you make the client worth it. And again, you can have a more boutique experience with them, enjoy that client, enjoy working with that client because you're charging what you're worth. Now, it's incredibly difficult to do that with every single client because like right now I'm working with a client that I really wanted, that I really needed to set me up. And so my package rate was a little bit lower than what I wanted it to be, but it's
Mhm.
an investment for me, right? But I can already tell I will never do that again, right? Like
Right.
I will never do this again. The next client is going to pay the full price, right? And I'm going to
Right.
make it an awesome experience for them. But packaging your services just makes the whole thing. And again, you get rid of the conversations about how fast can you do it, like, or how
Right.
much am I going to spend. No, this is what you're going to spend, and this is how long it's going to take, or it's going to take longer, or it's not going to take a lot. It's not going to take as long, but this is what it charges.
I love that. And as a creative VA, and holler if you guys are creative VAs, I want to know who my people are. Um, I might have a moment where I have decided to do branding for someone and I'm just in the zone and it takes me an hour and I crank out 20 ideas and I can't believe it. It's just coming. It's just coming. And then there are times where you're like, whew, I don't know what it is, but it's gonna take me 10 hours to come up with one
Yeah.
logo. And I can't be creative if I feel like the clock is running and I'm gonna have to explain
Yeah.
to a client why a 2-hour logo took me 10 hours. Like, I want the freedom to be able to wrap it up in 2 hours and they don't know because it's excellent work, or the freedom to go on a walk and regroup and go get a coffee and regroup and not feel like the clock is running. Why aren't you making gold now? That's not how creativity works. Like, it's like, just,
Yeah.
I cannot be creative hourly. There's just no way. I have to do it by a package. And if I'm in the zone, I win. And if I'm not in the zone, who cares? No one knows. So I would just, again, we're talking about what kind of life do you want, not just what kind of
Mm,
work do you want. I want a life where I get to go take a walk in the middle of making a logo because I wasn't feeling it. That sounds like a great
yeah.
life to me, and not feel like someone's going to be like, who's paying for that walk? You or me? Was that hourly? Was that not
Ooh,
hourly?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just want to be able to take the walk and sink it in
Yeah.
part of the package. So,
Yeah. For general
April
VA, I know
is
a lot
a
of people,
creative,
sorry.
by the way.
Yeah. Mm.
April's a creative, just
I
so you
know a
know.
lot of people are general VAs in here, and you probably think, well, how does this apply to me? And I would say that you are going to get better and better and better and quicker and quicker and quicker the more that you do whatever service that you provide. And so the
Absolutely.
quicker you can get away from hourly, the better. Um, Courtney had a really good no, I'm sorry, it was April. She said I have retainer packages with hours, but would love to go with packages instead of tracking my time all the time. So April, this is a really great point to bring up. Your main package or your main service may be a package, but your retainer may be hourly, and they don't have to match both of them. So for me, my retainers are hourly retainers. So, and that helps my clients. It's a really easy onset because I already did the main thing that they wanted, right? So now they shouldn't need a whole ton, and so I can have a whole list of clients that are on retainer that I really don't need to mess with too much, and they just kind of give me money, and I do things that I need to. I don't have a lot of them right now, but your main packages are going to be your larger packages that you won't do hourly. So they don't necessarily have to be both at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's good. Um, Also, not a bad practice to keep track of hours as you're learning this, because you could be
Absolutely.
way off. You could be way
Oh,
off. Um, yeah. Kelsey asks thoughts on charging as a day rate. Now, I'm not going to be nervous because she is a contractor, and I'm hoping she's not, asking for herself and about to jack up her
yeah.
price. Just kidding, Kelsey. You deserve it. Absolutely, I have done day rates as well. So it's different depending on what services you offer. So
Mhm.
if you're a photographer, that's a very physical end, like start of shoot, end of shoot. People can physically see whether you were there or not. So I absolutely have a day rate as a photographer. You just brought up a very interesting idea as the web design day rate. So do you want to speak to
Yes.
that? That's fascinating.
Yeah, I think day rates are incredibly popular right now. One of our friends, one of the friends at TVS, Jordan Gill, teaches day rates really well. Becca Luna teaches day rates really well for web designers. So there's a few different. Jordan Gill, I think, is not specifically for a service. She just sort of teaches it as a whole. So you can go check her out. Jordan Gill is her name, Gill. Um, Day rates are incredible. The only caveat to day rates is that you have to know your systems like the back of your hand, and you have to know what service you are providing, that you can get it done in a certain amount of time. So that's the really important part. So for example, web design, I need to know exactly what template I'm working with, exactly what copy holes I'm working with, and depending on what service you are, your industry or your person may not want a non-custom design. So if I'm doing web design, they want a completely custom website. I can't do that in a day, right? That's going to be my larger package that's going to take months. That's different. But if you're cool, you just want a web presence. So one of our users earlier was talking about bookkeeping and web design, or how does that fit together? A day rate for a web design in there would probably be great, because you're just setting them up. They don't need anything crazy, and you can probably get that done in one day, so long as like the thank you page has the documents that they need. And then you have a process of what your day looks like, your agenda, how they book it, and all that good stuff. But I love day rates. I think they're fantastic. I don't think they really work with general VA things, but for creative services and the like, yeah, they're fantastic.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely think like if you can be extremely clear to the client, here is what you can expect when you book me for
Yeah.
one day, and then the client can essentially decide. I mean, that's in a sense, it's just a fancy way of packaging. Um, it's still a package, it's just
Yep.
a one day package or an 8-hour package or whatever. Also kind of interesting if you need your client's involvement on the day. That's almost like a client camp one day. Make sure
Yep.
you're on Zoom when we need you,
Oh,
and
client
that'd be
camp,
kinda
yeah.
interesting, and then you're gonna have a website by the end of the day. It's kind of a fascinating idea. If you have more specific questions about day rates, throw it in the comments. April wants to know what I do as a creative VA. So, you name it, April. My past history, my degree was in graphic design. My first big girl job right out of college was at an ad agency where I learned all about strategy and marketing. And then I self-taught photography. So I have offered everything from commercial photography to commercial editing to photo retouching, to actual graphic design, logo creation, or honestly just like the most mind-numbing, boring graphic design you can imagine. I once this is probably the most boring job I've ever had. I took a bunch of menus and then I translated them into different languages graphically. So,
Ooh.
yeah, so it's the exact same design
And now you're
30
fluent in Mandarin,
30
Farsi,
times.
Spanish,
And
Portuguese, and English.
mm, yes, no, I did not do the actual translating. I had a copy doc. It was actually extremely complex, but I had to make sure that the design looked like the English one and that it was just in different languages. And then I had
Oof.
linguists fact check it all. But that provided for my family for probably 6 months. Like they were like, "We have another one coming in, this one's coming in. It's English, but it's actually Canadian. So, have to make sure like favorite is spelled correctly." I'm like, "Bring it on. Let's do it. Let's do it. This is great." I like would have shows running in the background while I did it. It was fantastic. So, like
Seasonality.
boring boring graphic design to like extremely creative, we need you to brand this entire thing, to like extremely extensive, where I was essentially a fractional CMO for a dentist office for a year and did all of their marketing strategy and every single marketing
Which
element,
was very
including their
cool, by the way. Very
thank
cool.
you. You don't think dentists can be cool, but they can. I think they can.
Yeah.
And I got new teeth. I got paid in teeth. It's a true story. I got paid in Invisalign. So yay, straight teeth. And Chachi's like, I probably can. Do they need a website?
Yeah,
I'd trade for some
let's
teeth.
say
um, anyway, so that was probably like the highest package I ever sold, which was literally all of their graphics and photography and social media captions and literally social media responding. Like anything that they needed in marketing, I did for a year. So that is some of the things you can do as a creative VA. April, I would love to know what you do as a creative VA. So let us know. All right, we got one final tip before we move on to our tech tip and our game. Man, we are going in depth on this one.
we are.
Upsell existing clients. Chachi?
I would this is a little bit different than additional services, and the way that it's working out in my brain is upselling after the fact. So, and we do this on a so like if any of you have ever gone through the Savvy system or has purchased Savvy system or anything like that. So there's things that they're called order bumps, which are
Don't tell them
adja-
like what we do to them.
adjacent projects, adjacent products that would be helpful to you if you are buying this, right? So that's your additional service. Then
Like
there's
Savvy
also an
Vault.
upsell, right? Like Savvy Vault. Then there is an upsell, which is like at the very end of your product purchase. It's like, we also have this, and it would take your business, it would take whatever service into the next level, right? So that's your thing. So for me, it was like a retainer services, or so like my additional service would be branding. primary service, web design, additional service branding, but my upsell is retainer. You have me after the fact. And of course, you have to do the whole pain point thing. Like your website's going to break. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And do you want to do it yourself? Do you want do you want your uncle? Do you want your brother who's in high school? Or do you want the guy who did it for you to do it?
Mm.
And so when you put it that way, and it's like you can have me for 30 hours or whatever it is, and this is what you pay. And if you don't, you can roll it over, however you want to do it, right? It's super easy to do it that way, as long as you drive home those pain points. But an upsell usually comes after the primary service.
Yeah, and one thing I will say too is like, so my best friend and podcast host of the other show that I host, Chachi, I don't know if you know, I have another show without you.
We don't
Um,
speak on that.
and her name is Shaylee.
No,
Shaylee
it's
and Katie
not.
Lemonade Stand, ShayleeandKatie.com. At Instagram at Shaylee and Katie. We talk about entrepreneurship and positivity. So one thing that she does, so she is a video production company, and she's usually completely fully booked a year in advance. So this was actually kind of a rare moment where contracts were ending and there was not anything on the books, and she felt like that sense of scarcity panic.
Yeah.
And all she did before she upped the marketing, she's like, just in general, I'm just going to email all of our current clients, and all I'm going to say is, and this is true, hey, we are making sure our availability all lines out for 2022 or whatever it was at the time. Do we need to hold space for any projects you guys haven't come down the line, or do we need to go, offer it to the wait list or whatever? All of her clients went, oh, hang on. Wait. Don't give away our spot. Don't give away our thing. Like, just we're going to have a meeting real quick. And then we're going to she was able to fill all of her time just by reminding them, hey, just so you know, availability is closing. So like, there's such a good reminder to say your existing clients who've already paid you money are the warmest leads you'll ever have, especially if you did a good
Absolutely.
job for them and they like you.
Absolutely. That's what Amal just said. I think upselling existing clients is much easier than targeting new clients because they've already
That's
tried the
right.
services and they like them, which is
Absolutely
absolutely
right.
true. I mean, you still want to have brand new leads coming in and trying to get new clients. That's also good because you also don't want to bleed your clients dry. Just
Nope.
obviously that's their decision. But yeah, absolutely. Don't think that they don't want the service. Just like Shaylee's clients, they probably just hadn't thought about it yet. They didn't know what
Right.
questions to ask. They didn't know that you were in that spot that you're
It
about to
wasn't
give away their
urgent
spot.
to them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It wasn't
Yep.
urgent to them. Exactly. So you just
And
have
what a
to kind of
difference,
bring it.
like, it's such a different communication style too. I mean, internally, you're probably feeling like, "Hey, help. We don't know how we're gonna pay our bills next month. Can you give us money?" Like, that's how you feel. But in reality, you're saying like, "Hey, client, we have some availability. We would love to offer it to you first because we value you. But if not, all good. We're gonna offer it to a new client." I mean, that's such a different
Yeah.
communication style, but you're feeling one for sure. I get that. Let's see. So Natasha says, I worked in administration for 20 years and I'm a Jill of all trades. That's
Heck yeah,
right.
Natasha.
Should I offer all my services in my packages or break it up down to 3 completely different ones? Ooh, I need more.
Give me
I
more
need more
info.
about
Yeah.
what are your services? I want to know your services. And also, I'm like still convinced. I'm like, I need her to show us her acting reel because your headshot is so cool. She's in acting and entertainment field. It also makes me go like, can you niche into that industry or do those people not need VAs?
That'd be
Like,
so
can you?
hilarious. Like the whole page of just like comedy, and it would really speak to those people. But Natasha, we would love to know what you actually provide, and then we can maybe, because you could break it up in a few different ways. You could break it up into, like, if you had, let's say you had 6 different services, and you could categorize, 2 of them and put them together. So like maybe like bookkeeping and taxes or whatever, and then or branding and web design or whatever. I don't know what the other 2 could be. Or are they based on where they're at in the business? Like the beginner package has these services, the intermediate package for people who are in their second or third year of business is in this package, or however you want to do it. But there's different ways that you can push them together or break them apart. But
You know what
can't
else I'm
tell you that.
thinking? I'm thinking Natasha, who by the way loves me, not you. Um,
Okay.
She might be a great person to bring on for coaching and coffee. Natasha, let us know if you're a Savvy Vault student. If so, you can apply at thevirtualsavvy.com/SV coaching, and you can come on and be our brunch guest, and we will do all
That'd
of
be
your
so fun.
packages for you live on the air. That would be so much fun. And we can see how dynamic of an actress I'm sure you are. Okay, what the tech is going on, Chachi? What is new?
Okay, we are 100%, 200% in the realm of AI, in the AI world. Like it's every new app, if it doesn't have AI in it, it's trash. Every app that is already out, such as ClickUp, Canva, any app that you use is going to get AI if they don't have it already. So one of the things that these ads have been targeting me for at least like 6 months. So I signed up and I wanted to use this Motion app to figure out what it was. Would it be useful?
I'm so glad you
It is a
signed up because I was so close.
fantastic app. It's a fantastic app. I decided that I couldn't use it because at the Virtual Savvy, we use ClickUp. And
That's what I
because
was
they are
afraid of.
direct competitors, because they're direct competitors, they don't integrate with each other. So
Makes
the
sense.
Motion app, one of the cons is that it doesn't integrate with Zapier, at least not yet. So once that happens, maybe I'll go back. But this is an all-in-one task and project management system, and it uses the power of AI to fit in your projects to optimize flow and efficiency and productivity. So, for
Wild.
example, let's say that I wanted to exercise every day. I needed to remind myself to eat lunch every day, and I wanted to meditate every day. Those are my reoccurring tasks. So I put those in there. And then I put in projects, right? Or I put in all my calendars. So I have Micah's calendar in there, Emily's calendar in there, my personal calendar in there, our family calendar, um, the baseball schedule because I coach. So all of those things are already in the Motion app. Okay. So then that gives me big chunks of pockets where I could actually fit my projects in, right? We have meetings on Tuesday mornings for the Virtual Savvy. We have bi-weekly meetings. We have smart getting meetings, all of these meetings, right? So it takes into account all those things. And then you put in your projects. I have to do, we're having a Memorial Day sale. We have to do some changes with Savvy Vault, whatever the thing is. And then you type out however long you think it's going to take, every single task that you need to, and then it will build it out for you and make your days. And all you have to do is follow your days. The coolest thing is that if something changes, because it always does, you go in there and you say, oh, I have a meeting that showed up at 2:00. It shifts everything else to go where it needs to. And sometimes, based on your priority, it may say, you can't exercise today, or you're going to have to skip meditation. It's the only way that
So
you can
you're
fit this in.
you're telling them if it doesn't fit, prioritize exercise over meditation.
Correct.
What?
Correct. Yeah. You're giving these things priorities, and then it's just shifting everything for you so that you don't have to have the
Does it
mental
deliver a
load.
message to, like, your wife that's like, "Based on your husband's priorities, you will not have date night tonight, but
I
he
don't think
will
so.
get to
Not
watch
yet, at least. Not, but
he
once
will
it
get to watch
integrates with
the football
Zapier,
game." And then it's like,
yeah.
there's, like, a fight, and you're like, "Oh, that was AI." It's like, "But did you put in your priorities?" Well,
Yeah,
yes.
that's true. That's true. So, but it's a great app, and the reason why I'm bringing it up today is that usually as a VA, you're working in the project management systems of your clients, but you usually have your own too to kind of keep it all together. So if you're using just your own and you don't need to integrate with those other calendars, and you're putting your own projects and stuff in there already, this may be a great app for you. It is paid, but it wasn't astronomical. I can't remember the actual what it was. They say 62 cents a day or something like that, but I think it was anywhere from around like $30 a month, something like that. So something to keep your calendar, especially for me, if you're a little narrow spicy, it really helps and keeps you all together. And so you don't have to have the mental load of figuring out where stuff is, because I miss stuff all the time and late all the time just because my calendar is crazy. So the Motion app, it's a great app. You should try it.
Well, hopefully that some of the Facebook user says $34 a month and also says
There it
she is
is.
hilarious, which might be you. Maybe you're hilarious. I don't know. Not her.
Could
She's
be.
sure
Could
she
be.
is. But yes, I am also seeing a lot of these productivity softwares unroll their version of AI. So I'd be very curious to see if like ClickUp's coming up with a competitor.
Yes.
So stay tuned. I'm always like curious if while we introduce this AI stuff, if like 10 years from now, we're going to look back on these episodes and be like, remember when they didn't even know what AI was or what it was
Yeah.
capable of? Like
Yeah,
while
yeah,
we're
yeah.
wearing robot suits and, no longer eating. Okay, game time. I'm so excited for this game. Are you
Okay.
excited? Okay.
I don't know.
Have you played like did you used to watch Price is Right as like a kid when you were sick or like anything like that? Have you seen it? Do you know the game?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes. Yes,
okay,
yes, yes.
okay. Bob Barker era? Have you done Drew
Yeah,
Carey
Bob
yet?
Barker, Drew Carey, yep, the whole era,
All of it?
all
Okay.
of it.
Um, oh, She Is Me. At Facebook user, I love
I had a
your humor
feeling
too.
I had a feeling.
It was me and not you.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Facebook user, there's so much I wanna say, but I don't know who you are, and I don't know what your face is, so just, like, if you wanna
It
I
was
don't know.
I think it's Suzanne
You don't
or
know.
Su
You don't know.
you're
It
right,
could be
you're
someone
right, I don't
else.
know. You're right,
Could
I
be
don't
my
know.
soulmate. If you just wanna, like, tell me more about you or, like, what you like to do or, like, where you'll be later or, like, if you're hungry or, like, we should share a meal, just let me know, okay? Okay. Chachi.
Yes.
I am going to give you and you guys can play along in the comments, but Chachi, don't look at the comments because I don't want them to influence you, okay?
Okay,
Um, I'm going to name some, like I've got 5 of these. Basic groceries/home staples,
okay,
and I want you to tell me what you think the price is.
okay.
And this is just so you know, I sourced my information of, like, national average, pretty generic grocery store. So this isn't, like, necessarily the Walmart price, which is supposed to be a little lower. It's not the Aldi price. So just, like, general grocery store, general world, or not
'Kay.
world, like country, okay? First thing is, and I can't guarantee that these are 100% accurate. So Price is Right rules is closest without going over.
'Kay.
Um, in the comments, try to beat Chachi, okay? Currently, gallon of milk.
Ooh,
This is
we don't
a
buy regular milk. Oh,
reduced fat 2% milk. Guys, put it in the comments if you think um you know the answer.
I'm gonna go with 312.
Chachi's answer is 312. Oh my goodness, my mom is still here. Hey, mom. I hope that you've learned how to niche your prices as a grandmother. Um, she's like, "I'm gonna start packaging my babysitting." And I'll be like, "No! What have I done?" My mom thinks 289. Kelsey Baldwin thinks 425, and Chachi says 312. So closest without going over. Also, please don't Google honor system. And my soulmate/lunch date later is $4.02. Actual retail price, maybe, possibly, is 425 for a gallon of
Jeez,
conventional reduced fat milk, national average. So I'm sure it's
man.
probably a little cheaper in Missouri, probably a lot more expensive in California is what I'm guessing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah, for
Depends on where
sure.
you are for sure. So to me, Kelsey said 425 on the money.
Yep.
Kelsey, look under your seat. There's a gallon of milk.
There's a new car.
No, there's a gallon of milk I
No, that
put
wouldn't have
2
been.
weeks ago under there just for
It
you.
smells great. It
Okay?
smells great, though.
This was not organic or grass-fed. This was just like your junk
Okay. Okay,
commercial.
Paula. Okay.
She was on the money. I actually thought she Googled it for a second. Okay, so 425 national average. Oh, there's a spider under seat. You know what? I mix those 2 up all the time. I'm really sorry about that spider. Okay, next question. 12 large grade A eggs. They are not organic. They are not free range. There's nothing particularly special about these eggs. Okay.
650.
Wow. Okay. No, again, closest without going over. You'll see a lot on Prices Right people bidding $1 because that's like a strategy. Now 650 feels what I would call
650.
unstrategic. Kelsey's doubling down. 420. Also, just a fun fact about eggs. About a calendar year ago, the average price was $1.50. So if this doesn't tell you something
Man,
about our current. Okay, the actual real retail price, as long as you don't fact check me, currently in 2023 April is 337.
so I was close.
337. You
That
were
was close.
not close at all
That
unless
was a
you were
little bit
buying
close.
24.
Look at that,
Uh,
Facebook user 650. We know.
but look, please don't talk to my soulmate. Facebook user is talking to me, not you.
Her
Natasha
name is
328
Suzanne.
nailed it.
Wow.
Nailed it. No, it's not Suzanne. Look. Nope,
Natasha, I don't
not
know if I can
me.
trust
This
you.
one,
Oh
Suzanne.
my gosh.
There's
You're
another
keeping
Facebook
it
user, and
straight.
it is the love of my life. So get on board. And big spender too. So I'm just saying, he's gonna treat me right, or
We
she.
like them cage-free eggs. That's what we like.
Is that
Cage-free.
why you get 650?
Roaming exactly.
Is
The
that what you
brown
pay
egg.
for eggs?
No, I don't know what I pay for eggs, to tell you the truth.
Okay, I'm
I
like, you
just put a
pay
list
more so
together.
that they're brown? What does that say about you? Maybe you need to ask Chachi what's up. Okay, gallon of gas.
Oh, pay for this one all the time. Now this is
This one I'm really nervous
really
about because it felt low for the national average. Because I heard like in California it's like ridiculous. So this could be off.
so we are like paying $3.12. I'll go with 350.
350 national average.
Yes.
What if Kelsey wins all of them just by doubling down on 425? You say 350. Paola says 315. Alicia says 389. So according to the one search I did, which could be wrong, it is 349.
What? I got
I
over?
know, but you went
Oh
over by
no.
1 cent, unfortunately. But look under your
Man.
seat. Look under
There's
your
a
seat.
gallon of gas.
Gallon of gas with the lid off. So if you've been feeling off today,
I'm
that's
feeling a
why.
little woozy.
Okay. This one's just for me for fun to see what you know about women.
CoverGirl Lash Blast Volume
Volume
Mascara.
mascara. Closest
I
without.
don't know. Only thing I know is that those are expensive. Let's say $12.
Oh, my mom says that she got it. Look, she got it on the money. That is so my mom of her. Okay, so
I think they're
you think
Googling. I think they're Googling.
$12?
I think $12.
You
Now, are
think
these
that
like the sample sizes or are these like the real sizes? Because I know they're different.
I'm
You got
sorry,
like different samples.
what are sample sizes of mascara? You
I
trying to
don't
know about
I
makeup right
don't
now?
know. I don't know.
Um, I happen to know Emily Diaz in real life, IRL, and she is not buying no drugstore mascara, I'll tell you much. She
She does
bougie.
not. She
Her
does not.
products, she buys her mascara the way she buys her eggs, okay?
Let me
So
let me
this
tell you like let me
probably
tell you like this. The stuff she don't buy them in drugstores. She needs insurance information to buy her stuff. Like she gets it on like prescription mascara. It's like the good stuff. She don't play.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Natasha, I knew you had a flaw. I mean, not that being Canadian is a flaw, it's just you can't.
Jeez. Oh, sorry, from Canada.
I just knew,
Jeez.
like, I had a feeling there was a reason you weren't weighing in. I had a feeling there was I shouldn't have said flaw, an obstacle. I felt an obstacle,
I don't
and
know.
not
You
necessarily
already
conversion.
said it, so now we just feel like we don't like Canadians
We're
here.
fine.
Jeez.
Look, she's cry laughing. We're good.
Jeez.
Remember that time I translated that menu into Canadian English? We're fine. Okay, drum roll is thanks for covering for me, company. Please sign this waiver that all is well. Okay. CoverGirl Lash Blast Volume Mascara. The final, put your final guesses in. It is in fact $9. Debbie Rice. Debbie
Dang.
Rice.
Debbie
Debbie,
knows. Debbie knows.
this is the kind of accuracy you can expect from Debbie when she is bookkeeping / creating a website for you.
Thank
You
you.
know what I mean? It's that $8.99 value. Congratulations, Debbie. Look under your seat. Just so you know, I put all of these possibilities under all of your seats because I didn't know who was going to win. It took a really long time. I went to Canada, which I love. Okay, last one,
So nice.
Chachi.
Oh,
No one help
okay.
him. No one help him.
They have not been helping me, by the way.
Box of Tampax, 34 count. You said 34 like you were doing the math.
Wait,
According to my conversion rate.
According to the math that I do often, let's say $24.99. $24.99. Come on, go.
$4.99. Okay, now you guys can weigh in that we've locked in his $24.90.
Is that expensive? I don't know.
He's
I
like,
don't
I'm gonna
know.
guess $1,000. I don't know. I just. Oh, my mom says it's been a while on that one. That's funny. Oh, Natasha. Oh, good. We're getting everybody's personal hysterectomy.
Wow. All right.
Okay. Kelsey's probably using budget ones,
Oh my
425.
gosh.
She goes, you know what? I just realized she shops at the 425 store. It's like everything's 425 is like the dollar store.
Yeah, we have one of those.
Okay. Paola says $7.99. You're not going to believe this. It is in fact $8.
$24.
Paola,
No.
look under your sink cabinet.
It was $8?
$8.
Wow.
$8. And that's name brand Tampax. And that one was actually at Target. But
Nice.
I'm going to let you know we're better than therapy. I'm going to take a picture of this one and use it in our marketing. With the Tampax up on the screen.
I think they want to go to that one. Wow. So I don't think I got any of them right.
Well, the good news is for your wife, I'm going to tell her that your husband assumes every time you're on your period, like there's like a budget item for like $1,000. So if you just want to go to Target and not tell him what you bought, come home with sacks and just be like, I'm on my period. And then he'll just be like, okay. I assume
was it in budget? Cool. Great.
thousands of dollars in that. So there's a budget. Yes, you're not wrong, Debbie. You're not wrong. It really went off the rails.
I feel like we all grew today together.
I think we all grew today for sure. Also, round of applause for just anyone from Canada.
We're doubling down on the like we're trying to damage control.
I love Canada
so
much. If there's one takeaway, it would hopefully be that I love Canada and everyone from Canada and that they're flawless. Okay, Facebook user, anonymous Facebook user, I'll be meeting you in just a few minutes for lunch. Everyone else, we'll see you a month from now. Oh, I got one more thing to share with you. Forgot.
That's not
Savvy Circle is open until Thursday only. It's Tuesday now. And it's application only, and we're only accepting 30 people. So if you are interested in not only niching, but scaling your niching company to 10K months and beyond, we're looking for people who want to be 6-figure VAs. Then go to thevirtualsavvy.com/savvy circle. There is a gorgeous sales page created by Chachi, our tech VA. Read all the information and then go ahead and apply. There's no penalty or pressure when you're applying. It's just making sure that what you want in life is a good fit for this program. But we are only accepting applications until Thursday, and then this cohort will close and you'll have to wait until next time to join. So if there's any inkling, just go to that website, look through, and if there's anything inside you, you might as well get more information because I'm telling you guys, this program is bananas. It's bananas. Chachi teaches an entire section in there. What do you teach in there?
Sales funnels for VAs.
Sales funnels for VAs. I'm in there with a masterclass on how to make a website using Chachi's template that he made from scratch that you can only get inside of Savvy Circle. But I teach you how to brand it for a high-end website or a high-end thing. Debbie's asking how much is it? Well, don't ask Chachi. He does not retain prices very well. It is our highest end program. So it is, are there payments or no? One time?
There are, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What are the payments?
No.
It's not cheap.
No. It is, payments are $497 if you're a Savvy System student. It's $397 for 12 months. 12 months. We also have other payment plans with Affirm and Klarna that you could pay over time. Choose your own payment terms, or you could pay at one time.
Awesome. Debbie, feel free to email us. We have pricing for Savvy System students that is discounted, as well as full payments if you're not, but we do have payment plans. It is our high ticket program, but it yields high ticket results. So if you want to scale and become someone with abundant mindset, it is absolutely the program for you. And again, thank you for coming. And if we have one takeaway, it's that me and Natasha are cool.
Oh, Canada.
Canada. our home and native land. Oh, that's all you knew?
Well, yeah, just the little Canada part.
Weird. I guess I know more about Canada than the rest. Bye, guys. I love
Bye,
Canada.
friends.